Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Part 3 gang, y'all. Let's get it, y'all. Part 3 gang, y'all. Let's get it. Like, share, subscribe, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. That jump was crazy, man. It was in that jump. Slow fight. One of the slowest fights I've seen in my life. Frank tried to throw something at him. Frank tried to throw something at Jimbo. Jimbo ducked the jump. Jimbo got low on him. When Jimbo got low, Frank tried to grab him. We tried to grab him. Jimbo grabbed Frank's shirt, pulled his shirt over his head on some massive old school stuff. He was like, he pulled his shirt over. Frank was like, Frank started windmilling. He was like, he was trying to get out the shirt, man. That's my word. We all sitting there like, man, this is crazy, man. Dude was like, man, come on. I was like, man, come on. I went there and grabbed. I was like, come on, man. Come on, Jimbo. Come on, Jimbo. Jimbo was like, before he got off Jimbo, he gave Jimbo a little slow 2-piece. He was like, blah, blah, blah. He was like, blah, blah, blah. He hit Jimbo with a 2-piece. Jimbo was like, yeah. Jimbo still like this. Jimbo was like, yeah. I was like, man, come on, man. Chill out, Jimbo, man. They grabbed Frank. Frank was like, yeah. And I'm going to still watch Maury tomorrow. Yeah, he's still talking about Maury. I'm like, I'm sorry, y'all, my word. I'm like, man, when I heard the man say that, the man say, I'm still going to watch Maury tomorrow. I said, this dude is a whole lunatic, man. I'm like, man, this dude a lunatic, man. I'm like, word. So, yeah, get him out my cell. So they get him out the cell. So they pull him away. So when they pull him away, we all in Jimbo's cell, but you still can hear Frank over across the pod. Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, I hit hard, don't I? Frank best punch combo, man, that he put together is when I grabbed Jimbo, man. So he basically snuck that in, man. Like, that fight was slow, man. That fight was like watching two turtles stand up and go head-to-head game, y'all. So boom. That fight was slow. That fight was the slowest fight I ever seen in my life. Man, I promise y'all, man. So, like, Frank adrenaline and running. Jimbo adrenaline and running. Both of them mad at each other. We in that jump trying to keep our composure and like not really like super duper laugh at this whole thing. But at least Jimbo held it down though. I thought because Frank was a little bit bigger, Frank would probably put that work in on him, man. But Jimbo knew what he was doing. It might won't been pretty, but he knew what he was doing though. I get it to him though, man. So you know he in the cell like, yeah, man, don't worry about it. He was like, nice meeting y'all. He was walking around the cell, doing that to dapping us up. He was like, nice meeting y'all. Yeah, that's what I do. Nice meeting y'all. He got around to me. He was like, nice meeting you, Weez. I was like, nice meeting me? What you talking about? He was like, I'm going to the hole tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to the hole tomorrow. He cut that TV on the Maury. I'm going to the hole tomorrow. Yeah, bet that. He's scared to fight in the pod. I ain't scared to fight in the pod, Weezy. I did 23 months in the hole my last bid. I'm like, 23 months? Like, man, what are you, Ted Bundy? So boom. I ain't say that though. I'm like 23 months, man. I'm like, what is going on here, man? I was like, man, look, you need to chill out, man, Jimbo, man. I was like, man, listen, it ain't that serious. I was tempted to be like, you know what? I'm gonna let you hold my roommate TV because my roommate, he came from another camp, so he never had the 13-inch. When I moved in his cell, I had the 13-inch. So because I had the 13-inch TV, he let me get the bottom bunk. This is when the dude moved me from 30 building over to back to 60 building. So when I got over there, the dude was on the bottom bunk, my roommate. But he had the small TVs that we used to have on Sussex, the small 13-inch flats. So that won't about nothing. So like when it was a good movie on, because Lawrenceville would play movies, I would set my joint up, take it off from under my bed, and put it down on the floor with 2 boxes and let him watch it. He'll sit up probably, you know what I mean? We'll watch it on the 13-inch, whatever the movie is. So I was tempted to be like, you know what, Jimbo? I'm gonna go ahead and see if my roommate let you rent his TV out, man, just so you can not fight over Maury. Like, that's what I was about to say, man. But like, on the strength of this being the world's most dumbest prison fight ever, I was like, I really like gonna see if they bout it when this Maury come on, to be honest with you, man. Like, I'm gonna get my popcorn ready for this whole thing. I ain't gonna lie to y'all because this was so senseless and stupid from guys that's older than us. From guys that we supposed to be kind of not. I'm too late in the game to be learning from a guy anyway. Like, I'm over 30 in this story right here. So like, I don't have time to be learning nothing. I done learned everything I can learn. You know what I mean? So I'm just looking at it like, man, you older from the town though, bro. Like, you ready to get us, you know what I mean? It was never going to be like a brawl between Norfolk and Richmond behind these two guys. But like, just off, we bitten off, we were like, man, you ready to make a Norfolk and Richmond brawl over Maury Povich, so everybody tripping off the jump. So they had called outside rec, man. we had went outside. So when I went outside, I had seen Ballhead, because Ballhead was in 70 building around this time. Because remember, he got moved from my cell. He went over to the other side first. And when he went to the hole, so when I got tricked up with the sergeant, now I'm over here. So bro was in 70 building the whole time. I'm in 60 building now. So when we go outside, it's the holler at him. So when I see him on the yard, I'm telling him about this Joe. He weak, he rolling because he know old head Jimbo. So I'm telling him like, yo, word. I say, yo, Jimbo was in the jump rumbling. I said, say word. Jimbo pulled his shirt. He pulled his shirt game over dude head on some old school. I said, on some old school stuff, bro. He was like, you welling. I was like, bro, by word. Jimbo pulled his shirt. He was like, he win. I said, man, listen. I said, man, them dudes was in there tired, throwing super slow haymakers, bro. Those were the slowest haymakers, bro, I ever seen in my life. He was weak. So I'm telling him about the jump. We out there tripping. So Jimbo was out there talking to his old head homeboy that's in 70 building. So he was down the other end of the fence. So we over there talking to bro. So as we was just standing over there talking to bro, Jimbo and the dude kind of got a little closer. So he's like, hey, Jimbo, come here, man. Come here, man. What y'all got going on, man? You talking about rumbling the mob, man, over Maury Povich, man? Come on, man. He was like, man, listen, I ain't got time for that, man. We already rumble. We just rumble. Yeah, we just rumble, man. Right before night rec. Yeah, we just rumble. Yeah, and then one thing about it, man, we gonna rumble again. He said, when you get locked up, head? Boy, was like, man, I got locked up in 2005. He was like, oh, no, see, you late too. You late too. He was like, what? He was like, man, dudes is fighting over the TV and ain't a lamb. They been doing that. He said, and we ain't letting nobody watch none of that, none of the Transformers or none of that stuff on the TV. We ain't going for that. So Ballhead was like, man, I'm saying though, this penitentiary though, man, like, he was like, no, I already told him I'm going to the hole tomorrow. If he put that joint up there, I'm going to the hole. It ain't nobody but me and him that be watching that TV the most. So bro was like, so this is about the TV or is this about more? He was like, it's about both. If I show weakness, he was just going in. I was just like, I never met an old head so burnt out, y'all, so boom. So he talked Ballhead to death about that whole thing, man. It was time to go back in. We go back in the pod, man. When we go back in the pod, Frank didn't come out. Frank stayed in with the Richmond dudes. So when we come back out in the pod, Frank's standing over there with the Richmond dudes. Neither one of them have marks on them. They didn't even look like they was fighting, to be honest with you. So Frank's standing over there with the Richmond dudes. He looking super serious as we walk in. So when we walk in, I see the same dude that came to my cell. He was right at the front door, slightly by, like, with the ice ball. When we come in from night rec, it's going to be the ice. They're going to do the ice call. So he was standing like where he can be first with the ice. So I walked in. He called me. He looking at the bulletin board, though. He got his arms crossed holding his ice bag. He like, hey, Shawty, man, did you see that fight, man? I was like, man, that joke. He was like, man, look, I ain't trying to laugh at old school face, man. He was like, man, Frank, wow, man. He was like, he said, hey, why? I said, bro, look, if they fight tomorrow over there, Maury, bro, I said, I'm not breaking it up. I'm letting you know now. As long as nobody bank them, I said, I don't care. I said, I'm not breaking it up, man. I said, they gonna fight over Maury, man. I'm not getting in these dudes' way, because this is about to be the dumbest fight of all. He was like, over Maury, though, Shaw? I was like, bro, over Maury, man. This is all about Maury Povich, right? This is the craziest stuff I ever seen. I'm like, this is wild right here. So he like, man, I ain't even coming out to cell. He said, I'm gonna watch it from my cell, man. I'm gonna watch it. I said, you ain't gonna be able to see it from your cell. He was like, I don't even want to watch it. I don't care. He said, man, I'm gonna go put my phone up and everything. He said, cause they get stuff hot, man. I was like, bro, I don't know what they got going on, man. You know what I mean? But I was like, man, tomorrow gonna be crazy. Tomorrow gonna be crazy, man. So the ice came in, kicked a little bit, laughed a little more, then we went on our own separate ways. So when I went upstairs, you know what I mean? I'm messing with my stuff. I'm like, man, I thought about it. I was like, hey, man, I said, yo, I told my roommate, I said, bro, do me a favor, man. He was like, what? I said, man, look, you can watch my TV, whatever you want to watch, bro. I'm going to put it on 3 boxes if you want to, bro. He was like, what? I said, man, look. I said, man, let Jimbo hold your TV for a couple of days for he don't get into it with the dude about watching Maury. He was like, man, I ain't letting Jimbo hold my TV, Weezy, man. I was like, man, bro, come on. He was like, man, Weezy, look, I appreciate you. When the movies come on, you know, you look out, you know what I mean? He was like, but look, I'm good with my little TV. I ain't gonna lie. And no, he can't use it because I don't want to let nobody use my TV. I don't know if they gonna break it. Then, you know, I ain't gonna have nothing. Then Weezy, he was like, if you move, I'm gonna be straight with my little TV. I ain't mad. I'm like, man, that makes sense though. But I was like, I was just trying to not let them get into it. He was like, man, look, I heard all that stuff, man. He was like, they get into it over more, man. They deserve it, man. They already had fought. That junk's supposed to be squashed after they fought. I said, bro, it's not squashed. I said, it's not squash. I said, Frank looking mad. Like, Frank want a rematch. You know what I mean? Frank want a rematch. But I said, but it's going to boil down to if he going to turn that TV to more. He was like, man, I ain't getting that jump. I was like, all right, man. So I tried, y'all. I try to get a TV. I try to squash the beef. What I'm gonna do next, y'all don't know. So boom. So I just sat back and was like, man, here's what it is. Jumbo, he's chill. You know what I mean? We come out one more time and we come back out on the night rec. So we out there for a minute. We get like an hour and a half last rec before we lock down for the rest of the night. So we out in the pod, everybody chilling. So I never stay the whole time out in the pod. You know what I mean? On this rec right here, the last joint, I'll come out chill for a minute. Well, I gotta heat something up or something, you know, kick it with a dude or somebody real quick. After that, I'm shooting back to the cell, man. I'm chilling. It's usually a show on that I'm watching or it's something on it. It's something. It's sports or show. Something is going on, but it's the summertime. All the sports are gone, basically. So it's more than likely a show that I'm trying to watch. But I shot down there for a minute and I was just mingling for a minute. And then I looked over at Frank. Frank was in the cell. You know what I mean? Frank stayed in the cell. So I was like, let me go mess with him right quick. His cell looked super dark. I walked by his door. I was like, he like, yeah. I was like, I look, his roommate sitting on his roommate got his TV like I got my TV. He don't even let Frank look at the TV. If Frank look at the TV, Frank got to sit like on one box and just kind of like focus in and be all in dude way, which I don't think he do it like that. So Jimbo was on the top reading a book. When he got up, I was like, yo, he was like, hey, what's up? I was like, man, what's up? You good? He jumped off the bed. He was like, yeah, I'm good, nephew. What's up? You all right? I was like, yeah, man. He was like, man, ain't nothing, man, about some wreck, man. That's all it is, man. One thing about it, nephew, man, don't go through your bed letting nobody disrespect. I said, look, I said, I've been locked up since 2000, man. I said, man, I've been bitten. I said, when you was on the street, I'm doing time. I said, when you was on your first bed, I'm doing time. He was like, oh, I didn't know you was locked up that long. You were locked. I said, man, I've been locked up since 2000. He was like, yeah. He said, I was a young man. Yeah, I was still a young man. I was like, man, look, man. Like, you preaching to the choir, man. I was like, I kind of know how this stuff ran in here, bro. I know kind of what's going on. I'm extra nosy. Like, I've been bitten on, you know what I mean? He was like, yeah, you definitely been bitten. But he was like, still though, I ain't gonna let nobody carry me. I said, man, he ain't carrying you, Jimbo, man. That man just say he gonna watch the Maury jump, man. He was like, I ain't watching no fruity stuff, Weezy. I was about to scan him again, y'all. I changed my mind, so boom. Cause I was done with the whole thing, man. I said, man, well, you know what, though? I'm gonna holler at you, Jimbo, man. Do your thing, man. I knocked on his door and pilt out, man. Went to my cell, man. I'm done thinking about this stuff for the night, man. I'm done thinking about it, man. Laid down, slept good. Woke up in the morning, man. Went to breakfast. There was nothing going on. Maury comes on at 3, 4 o'clock. I can't remember. It was either 3 or it was either 4. It's one of the two. So went to breakfast. Everything was smooth. I looked up. They still doing their little same thing. Usually Jimbo would be at the TV in the morning doing a little something, you know what I mean? Watching a little something. Then you might see him get up a little bit later. Then you'll see Frank kind of alternating. Frank will get the TV. So it looked like they had their system going on smooth, if you ask me. That's what it looked like, man. I promise you, it looked just like that. So everything was straight to after lunch came. After lunch came, everybody come back from lunch full. We come back from lunch probably like 1:32. So they about to call outside rec. They call outside rec. Nobody went outside like this. Nobody went outside for this reason though. I'm letting y'all know now. Penitentiary, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. A lot of people can do it. I can't do it. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. It seemed like in the summertime, it's harder in penitentiary, man. Like, God forbid if you're in a pod that don't have air conditioning. Lawrenceville had air conditioning. I had an air conditioning and a fan. Like, I had both. And I'm telling you, like, going outside at 2 o'clock, morning times, you can get away. You're gonna bake, but not as like 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock was like being in a desert in penitentiary. There's no trees. There's no shade. Man, I'm letting you know now, man. 2 o'clock feels like freaking 99 degrees, 100 degrees. And a lot of people don't go outside. Dudes will wait till morning time probably or night rec. The night rec starts at 7 o'clock. It's cooling down. It's a little warm still, but it's a little bit more cooler. So that's when dudes go out. So nobody went out when they called outside rec at 2. Everybody stayed in. Now, when people be coming back from outside rec, that's when kind of like the talk shows and all that be on, when we on standby for dinner. So when everybody came back from rec, it was like a regular, normal atmosphere in the pod. Dudes running around, dudes going to the shower. The few dudes that did go outside is dudes playing cards, is dudes running around. It's the same thing going on. I look over at Jimbo. Jimbo standing by the steps, drinking out his coffee cup. He's standing by the steps. You know what I mean? But he's looking over at the TV though. I look over at the TV. I see Frank. Frank's sitting on the table like he always do with his butt on the table, his feet on the bench. He got his feet like that. He's sitting on the joint, looking at the TV. The remote control is right beside him. You know what I mean? So standing there looking at him. So I'm standing there just watching the whole jump, seeing what's gonna happen. Jimbo don't look too violent. You know what I mean? I look over at the clock. The clock say 3:45. So that's when it came on. It came on at 4 o'clock. Maury came on at 4 o'clock. That's what time it came on. So Jerry Springer be on first. So what happened was, this is how I knew that was that. Frank turned the TV. When Frank turned the TV, it was on Jerry Springer. He put it on Fox. It was on Jerry Springer. So I looked. I'm like, oh, he got it on Jerry Springer. I was like, oh, Maury, come on next. So when I seen him turn and jump to Jerry Springer, I look at the clock. That's when I saw it was 3:45. When I look at Jimbo disappeared in the cell. I was like, man, Jimbo crazy. I look back 2 minutes later, Jimbo standing back by his cell. He got his roommate Nikes on. You know what I mean? He looking scrapped up like an old head on some old head shit. You know what I mean? So I'm like, Jimbo about to really fight over this shit. So goddamn 4 o'clock hit. When Jerry go off, you can see the credits and everything going off on Jerry. Man, I promise you, man, dudes just started like coming up to the TV. Like dudes started coming up to the TV. So Maury, come on, boom. You know what I mean? Maury, come on. They doing the jump. So I'm like, man, look at this shit, man. So I'm standing looking at this shit, this word. Soon as it come on, soon as Maury come on, Maury like, is this a man or is this a woman? Who do you think it is? The lady like, that's a man. That's a man. He like, who do you think it is? Who do you think it is? Dude like, that's a lady right there, man. I was looking at the Adam's apple. I don't see one. I don't see one, man. Maury was like, let's start this show off right. He said, do the blue balloons, is this a man? Do a pink balloons, is this a woman? The people in this junk dropped the little screen. All you seen was some blue balloons come down. He was a man, Buddha, so boom. I'm like, this junk crazy, man. I was like, Maury started off wilding, man. I was like, man, this man got freaking blue and pink balloons. Like, this is a freaking baby shower. What is he thinking, man? I was like, yo, this is wild, man. So I was just standing there. I was like, man, this like, I couldn't do nothing but laugh at it. Like, I'm not watching it, but it's right there on the TV. So I'm like, this junk crazy. So I see Frank like, yeah, see that? Man, come on, see, it'll trick you. It'll trick you if you ain't, you know, or you think Maury just lying, like making these women off to be mans just so he can make his show go good. I'm like, I thought about it. I was like, man, Maury is a freaking super maniac genius Vato if he's doing that. That's crazy, but I don't like that though. I don't like that though, man, because he messing with the Transformers. That was nuts. So I don't know what the hell Maury was going on, but Frank over there enjoying the joke. He like, yeah, that joke crazy, man. Maybe he paying women to lie. Yeah, he over that joke feeling good watching the joke. I look over at Jimbo over that joke like this. Jimbo looking super angry in the face. He like, but I was happy he didn't do nothing though. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was happy he didn't do nothing, man. So as soon as I said that, I look away. And I'm looking this way, you know what I mean? The TV is on again. Maury running another one back. He's running another one. So as he's doing that, Jimbo come around from like behind us. And like the way he's going, it looked like he's walking towards the shower. But the TV is not far from the shower. So as he come around from behind us, he walked and went straight by the TV and like try to grab the cord. I'm looking at it, I'm like, I thought he was about to walk up on Frank, but Frank's still sitting down. Man, he walking towards the TV. I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do? Man, this man walked, try to grab the cord. As soon as he tried to grab the cord, the dude grabbed his arm. But this dude went in for Rich. Be like, what you doing, Jimbo, man? Jimbo was like, yo, chill, man. Ain't no way y'all getting. He was like, he tried to pull the cord. As soon as he tried to pull the cord, Frank come out of nowhere. Man, Frank, one of them little slow haymakers, caught Jimbo. Boom! Jimbo said, he let the cord go. As soon as he let the cord go, Jimbo got up, start wrecking dude. Boom, boom, he start wrecking Frank. Boom, boom, they get the wrecking right there on the floor. I was like, man, this junk crazy, man. Dude, old head looked at me and said, Weezy, why you let them fight? Why you let them try to pull the cord? I said, man, what you mean, why I let? He was like, man, it's your old head. I'm like, man, listen, I don't have nothing to do with that, man. I don't know what you're talking about. They right there rumbling. I look up at the lady in the booth like this, looking down on the junk. She like, and she ain't got the phone. She like, I see Frank trying to do him. Jimbo rumbling them though. Boom, 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 boom. They both hit the ground. Some old head shit. Boom. They like this on the ground fighting. They was like, man, y'all chill, get your ass up, man. Jimbo was like, yeah. They start fighting some more. Boom, 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 boom. They lock up. Frank take Jimbo down. Boom, he take Jimbo down. This is my word. He got Jimbo like in a little headlock. That's all you hear Frank say, ah, get him off me, man. I look, man, I see Jimbo. Jimbo was like this on his thigh. He looked like a vampire, y'all. So boom. Man, Jimbo bit the goddamn living shit out of Frank. You hear me? Man, he looked like he was biting an apple. He was like, he had a mean bite. Pause. Man, that John looked crazy, man. Frank let that nigga go. Jimbo tried to, Jimbo jumped on him, threw some shit. Frank ball up. Jimbo throwing some shit at him. We like, we let that shit happen. We was like, man, we not breaking that shit up, man. Everybody just looking at that shit. Niggas ain't looking at Maury no more. Maury on the TV like, is this a lady or a man? Which one do y'all think it is? There's a whole fight going on, Maury. So boom. We don't give a shit about that show no more, man. We looking at that shit like, This shit crazy, man. Finally, next thing you know, the slider open up, police cover that bitch. They walking that joint, they thought they about to see some niggas really brawling. They see them 2 niggas on the ground, goddamn, and they walking, they like, man, why y'all let these niggas, they grab goddamn Jimbo. They like, man, get off him. They push him over there. The other CEO grabbed Jimbo. Let's stand over there. Put your hand behind your back. Jimbo was like, man, fuck that motherfucker. Yeah. Told you weren't watching Maury, bitch. Yeah. That nigga Frank was like, man, this motherfucker bit me on my thigh, man. Man, shawty, this nigga bit me on my thigh, shawty, goddamn. I was like, oh shit. That nigga was limping. That nigga was like, man, he was like, sit over there, man. They was like, man, what the fuck y'all got going on? Got people fighting over the TV, man. They was like, man, come on, man. Lock this shit down, man. We was like, man, come on, we about to go to dinner. The lady was like, they calling up for child now. We was like, man, we gotta go to child, man. Sergeant dude was like, man, shit, y'all go to child then. Y'all stay right there. They kept Frank and Jimbo right there, so we went to child. We going to child hall, this word, the whole walk to the child hall. Niggas is like, yo, that shit was the craziest fight over the dumbest shit I ever seen in my life. By the time we got in the child hall and got our tray, we seen them take goddamn Jimbo. Jimbo go walk the medical. He passed the child hall. He walked the medical. You know what I mean? 5 minutes after that, you see goddamn Frank. They ain't got him handcuffed. Frank limping to the goddamn child hall. Frank like this. Nigga done bit his whole thigh off. You hear me? He like, so Frank the medical, man. This is my word. They came back later on, packed them niggas shit up. Packed them niggas shit up, man. Goddamn. They didn't stay in the hole, though. It was 2 old ass men. They sent one, they kept one on this side, one on the other side, man. But they ended up sending Frank to the other side. They kept Jimbo on our side. Jimbo got out the hole. He was in 70 building. Jimbo probably there about 15 days. You know what I mean? Goddamn, I seen that nigga on the yard. I said, Jimbo, you wild as a bitch. I said, you bit that nigga, man. He was like, shit, that nigga motherfucking big as a motherfucking ox. I go with the finishing move, nephew. Goddamn right, I'ma bite a nigga ass. I was like, man, you was a dirty, rotten, crazy vato. I like that, though. I like that, though. I said, you got his ass, Jimbo. He was like, yeah, man, fuck that nigga and Maury. I said, nah, man, don't do that. Maury ain't got shit to do with this shit, man. I said, your ass crazy. So that was kind of like our inside joke. Every time I'll see his ass, I'll joke about that, man. But that was the dumbest fight of all time in prison. That shit was crazy. I ain't even gonna lie, man. Over goddamn Maury Povich, man. But that was a crazy situation. That's the end of the damn story, though. Whew. I appreciate y'all for watching, man. Y'all already know the count, man. Turn this video up for me. Like, share, subscribe to this video, y'all. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's go. Be safe out there, people. And stay your ass out of the way.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way. Surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way. If you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way. Put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way. Chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way. Kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way. Mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way. Stand out the way. What you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous. Did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments. Get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.